Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania, it's the Bill and Corey Show.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Welcome back to another great episode of the Bill and Corey Show. I always say that, but this will be pretty good. The questions are like, this week.
Oh, we'll make them good, though.
We'll make them good.
We'll make them good.
Yeah, so first question. This is a customer is looking for a pressure regulator for CGA 679. Look, we got one right there.
Whoa.
Have a party. Now, CGA 679, that's this connection here. Looks kind of like a funny looking. It's a flat finish washer thing.
It's a funny looking.
And we do have what do you say? He's a funny looking guy. And we're not talking Steve Buscemi here. Don't bother zooming on this. This is a CGA 679 washer. It's lead. We're going to keep it in the bag for a bunch of reasons.
And don't lick it.
Don't lick it. Don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
Keep it away from kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the CGA...
That one's flavored with that bitter stuff. We put it out. We spray the bitter stuff on there so people want to eat it.
It's,
like those batteries, like the Duracell. You see they do that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, my kids are all grown up,
Are eating.
so I don't really care about that. No,
yeah, I'm sure it happened. It's just one of those things.
Anyways, CGA 679 is supposed to be for pure fluorine service, but it got kind of a little corrupted, and it's used for fluorine mixes. So pure fluorine is extremely, extremely reactive. People say it's the most reactive element.
It's angry.
I'm not a...
Anything sets it off.
Yeah, it just really...
Don't talk politics with it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, yeah. Or religion. So we could sell regulators for fluorine mixes. So it's our stainless steel ones. Has to be stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the 3510A series, 3610A series, which is our tied diaphragm, and this one that we built up here is our 3810A series, which is a dual stage. This is kind of popular. So I'll explain a little bit about what we have here. So like I said, fluorine is extremely reactive. We can handle up to a 10% fluorine mix.
And that's even with our tied diaphragm one as well?
Yes,
okay.
Even with tied diaphragm, dual stage, single stage, has to be stainless steel. 10%. Above 10%, we can't handle that. You'd have to go with a Monel passivated regulator, and the big kicker is the seat of the regulator for above 10% has to be bronze-filled Teflon. So that's good luck trying to get that one.
But it makes sense that you need a passivated regulator for a very reactive gas.
Yes, you do. And if you want to do it, this Corey here's got to lift this up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a regulator with a cross purge on it. Say, hey, this mix is still kind of nasty. I want a cross purge on there. Well, you're limited to 5% fluorine.
Which always messes with my head, because you think cross purge would make it like increase the percentage because you're adding an extra safety thing.
Yeah, but the problem is the venting.
Yes.
Because you're venting to air, and it's
and
gonna.
You're gonna get. Well, I wanted you to touch on why that is.
It's gonna be flame. I don't know if it's gonna go boom, but old boss say is that would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So you're limited to 5%. So you're really talking some nasty kind of stuff here going on here.
Yeah.
So if you want to, it's
Don't
like
play with fluorine at home.
So how do you order these things? You order them as a modified regulator.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Because we need to know what gas you're using.
Yeah,
you just can't order. We're just gonna say, oh yeah, it'll be okay. Now we want to know what mixture you're using, just to double check that you're not gonna.
And hopefully nobody lies to us.
Yeah, well, it's up to them. So we have to state that on the order.
And just like, it's less, So it's a modified, but not really modified in that sense. It's just double checked.
Yeah, it's double checked, but we do it because when you modify it, it has to go through engineering.
Yeah, the mechanism to do that is to make it modified.
So it's not just pass it through.
Our internal stuff, they're not interested in that. I don't know why I brought it up.
Talk about the paperwork and stuff like that.
We could. We should bring in a model order, sales order, and go over at one of the shows.
Oh, boy. That'll be a nighttime show when you want to go to sleep. You can order it in an online store. So we got it because there's so many people buying them. We said, hey, let's put it on the online store.
So many people.
And people buy it, and then you have to state your mix in there, and it goes right through. And
there you go.
Build it, ship it within a day. No problem there. So that's it. That's all I have to say about that.
And that's all there is.
Okay, I'll put this one down. Okay, this one's going to be a graphics one, so not yet. So why can't I read any cylinder pressure on my sulfur hexafluoride pressure regulator?
Is the words too small? Do they need a magnifying glass?
Well, kinda, but what? Okay, so you want to put up the first graphic. So this is what got sent to us. So you look at that, you glance at it, they go, hey, it's at 0. It's not really at 0. That's a 4,000 PSI gauge. It's standard for a CJ 590.
Yes.
Because we just sell CJ 590 can use for
most of the time
air.
it's put on cylinders with high pressures.
Yeah, 0 air, dry air, ultra 0 air, not breathing air, industrial air, air.
Zero air would be bad to breathe in too because there's no air.
Well, no. Okay, so it looks like it's 0, but it's not. So you want the next graphic? So this is kind of marked up for it. So
Not kind of. It is.
it is marked up. Well, it's kind of for the quality of marking it up. So the number you see there, actually the first little black tick on there, that's your 100 psi tick, and it's
Barely there.
yeah, you're talking, you're about an eighth of an inch, no, not even that, above the little, there's a little post there. I'm pointing at it. That would be the 0 post, but it's, so this one is just above that hash, so it's reading about 125 psi. So sulfur hexafluoride, see there in the graphic says,
The blue highlighted part.
well, no, I'm talking about in the right-hand corner.
Oh, okay.
So the vapor pressure is
at
70 degrees Fahrenheit, which I assume they're at, is...
well, not this week.
No, not this week.
Yeah, this week that vapor pressure is going to be
really
high.
So
man.
We'll show that. I've got a good
heat
graphic.
dome.
We'll keep on this graphic though. So at room temperature, which I assume it is 320 psi. Now pressure gauges. This gauge is a 323 gauge. So at this bottom.
Sounds like a political slogan. The 323 plan.
Yeah. 5440 or fight. Yeah, this will be the 32. Who was? Someone had the 323.
Hammer and Kane had the
Herman Cain, didn't he?
The 789 plan or the 999 or something. I
don't
can't
know
remember.
what it was. So the gauge is plus or minus 3% of full scale. So I'll do the math for you. It's plus or minus 120 psi, from 0 to 1,000 psi. So it's a lot to talk about. So I've got the little blue swatch there, or little longer line on the gauge showing you that's kind of the range you look at for sulfur hexafluoride is the normal range there. So I don't know why I was reading a little bit low, but when you have vapor pressure gases like sulfur hexafluoride or propane or sulfur dioxide or ammonia, well, yeah, but one's at room temperature vapor pressure gases.
Okay.
You got to measure the contents by weight.
Yes.
Not by
it's
volume.
Better by weight, or you could get a gauge that is like say 0 to
you could
400.
Well, for this thing, you could get we suggest a 0 to 1,000 gauge if they really want to see what the pressure is.
So that's, I'm just saying that's another route you could go.
Yeah. Now the only problem is it's going to stay at that pressure.
Yeah.
On the gauge until your liquid's depleted. Gone, and then it's going to go wonk.
Yeah. So it's not going to really give you a warning. So yeah, that's why a scale's better. Yeah. Propane's another one that you can use a scale with.
So we're going to go to the next graphic.
There we go. Okay, sorry, I'm going.
And this is a picture taken out of our Matheson Gas Data Book 7th edition, because that has
ripped that page right out and took a picture of it.
Yeah, it's not the best photo. It's an iPhone thing. So I've got things marked off there. I've got the green little hatch. That's room temperature. So that shows you it's a logarithmic scale. So that's your 325. So the red I put for a hot day, which is 100. You'd probably get up to there today. So that's up one, let's see, it's 2, 3, that's like 475-ish, something like that.
I can't believe you didn't put the pressures on the graph.
Well,
We'll
the
do
next
it
one I
live.
did,
We'll
'cause
do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live because we got to kind of guess because it's an odd. Those are logarithmic scale.
I know,
It's
I
kinda
know. So
goofy
that would
looking.
be
So it could be like 475-ish today if it was outside instead of.
Two.
And if it was cold, if you had it cold,
maybe like a 220-ish.
I don't know where that is. Probably in Antarctica. It's probably 40 degrees.
So
You're looking at
I hope it's colder.
200 psi. Better be colder in Antarctica.
I hope it's colder than 40 degrees.
Oh, yeah. But I'm,
I know.
I'm hedging here. So that's a vapor pressure curve, and that's for sulfur hexafluoride. So that's kind of, you can see the temperatures. You're going to get different setups. So I got another gas. Let's go to the next graphic. That'll be pneumonia.
Pneumonia. Oh my goodness, pneumonia. Oh,
This is not logarithmic.
it's
bit
inverse.
easier to
It's
read.
inverse logarithmic.
It's something. So I've got the green for 70. It's right between 110, 120. So it's really 114.
So it's not right in between. It's at 114.
It's close enough. I was thinking to just put 115, but I didn't want to do it. So on a hot day, ammonia is up at 200 psi, and a cold day it's down to 60 psi.
When you have to be worried about pneumonia.
Yeah, you have to worry about pneumonia. It really has nothing to do with the weather. But
I know.
so that's liquefied gases. This chart was easier to find than propane.
And there's even other ones that aren't at room temperature, and like CO2's 800 psi-G. Not at room temperature, but not
higher
that low.
pressure.
It's a higher pressure vapor.
Higher pressure, yeah.
But not to like 2400.
Yeah, so this is so you get a great variance in there. So if you had the pressure gauge, let's say for ammonia, I would suggest 400 psi gauge for this because on a hot day, you don't want to have it on a hot day. It's going to bust your gauge. So if you had it and I was reading 60 psi, you go, oh, the liquid's all gone. No, wait a minute. You just brought it in from the cold. It's still cold. It hasn't warmed up yet. So you have to be careful looking at the gauge. You got to correspond that with temperature, and it takes time for things to warm up and stuff like that. So, yeah. And then, of course, if you wanted to switch to 1,000 psi gauge, you could do that. You could kick off the graphic.
Okay.
Okay, you can.
So I stepped on your toes there. I didn't realize that was on when I said the gauge.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, we have to bring it up sometime. So we brought it up a good time. So if you wanted to order it that way, it would be you'd order the regulator as a
-S.
-S, and we'd modify it for you. No problem.
Modify it.
Another thing about sulfur hexafluoride, people are like, what the heck is that? That's used
Bad.
for
It's bad.
it's used for
That's what it is.
insulating and stuff, and it's a nasty greenhouse gas.
What did you say? 25,000 times worse than CO2?
25,000 times worse than CO2, and CO2 just doesn't have the lobbyists that SF6 has. So people are like, they understand CO2, but sulfur hexafluoride, you go, what? I don't know about that. Is that some vaccine? In Norway, though.
Do not inject sulfur hexafluoride.
don't. No, it's not going to help. In Norway, they're a little on top of things. They have a tax on sulfur hexafluoride, and the tax is I'm not a tax lawyer, but it looks like new sulfur hexafluoride used in Norway would be the tax would be $1,000 a pound ish. That's a lot.
As I'm thinking about this, I don't know if you looked it up. Is sulfur hexafluoride naturally occurring, or is it?
I think you got to make it.
You got to make it, okay.
You got to get some sulfur.
And some hexafluoride.
Some hexafluoride.
Well, I didn't know sometimes gases happen in nature, or some that were totally made up by the gas industry, and not the gas industry,
we're
the
gonna run a
oil
little
industry.
late, but we gotta cover.
Oh
this
yeah, we
stuff.
got to do this one.
The next one. This is kind of fun. It's on. Someone had a question. They said joints for the gas pipes have to be provided with Gyrolok.
Or if you're Greek, Gyrolok.
Fittings for 6 millimeter pipe diameter. Okay, so 6 millimeters is about a quarter inch.
About, give or take, 1,400 thousandths. What was it?
14,000.
14,000.
A hundredths off. So it's not that, it's just a little bit off. So
A
if you
hair,
have,
a hair as they call it.
you can get 6 millimeter fittings, but if you have a quarter inch and it's a rigid metal tubing, like stainless steel or copper, it's gonna work.
Yeah, not plastic pipes
Okay.
or polyurethane.
So-
those ones.
Gyrolok or
Gyrolok.
Gyrolok. Yes, we do provide these, and we've got 3 of them here.
But the
And-
picture's
oh, you
probably
didn't have
better.
the ferrules didn't fall out.
I know. Well, I did it carefully.
Oh boy, I was hoping you'd have them spill out or something fun like that.
No,
so you have to
I
be
knew it was gonna
careful.
happen.
You have to be careful taking these things apart.
And I don't want to
So,
mix them up.
How did you take it apart with a nut on top? You didn't.
Yeah, they were totally vertical, and I
Some
screwed
people
it
do
off.
a nut on the nut leaning down.
Yeah.
So if you just kind of take it off like you'd normally unscrew things,
It'll fall out.
it's gonna fall out.
Here, I'll do it. I'll do it live. Oh no!
There you go.
What happened?
Okay. So, yes, you want to.
Be careful.
You gotta be careful, yeah, and that sometimes happens. Usually, mostly for the rookies. So.
I'm gonna invent the compression fitting where the ferrules are attached.
Okay, you want to put up the graphic? There we go. I took a picture this morning. Show you the difference between them. Now you're really not supposed to interchange the ferrules with the fittings.
I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but we spell it ferrule, but call it a wild animal, a feral. And it
Well, as you can say, if you don't open them properly, they're going to be feral. And they're just going to go wild.
So that's
all
just
over
a
the place.
weird pronunciation of that word.
So, so if you look at it, you have to look a little different. It's really the bodies look about the same for each one. Very little difference. They will Gyrolok and Swagelok stamp on their bodies. I didn't see Parker down at.
Parker's not proud of their work.
Actually, I think they might stamp on the ferrules. My eyes were not good enough to read that small. So you got a front ferrule and a back ferrule.
Bet you my eyes would have been good enough.
Yeah, Corey's maybe. Mine, I don't have as young as eyes as Corey does. If you look at the Gyrolok, the lower ferrule on the left, it's it's
Beefy.
conical, and then it kind of has a stock, kind of squares up there. So that's a easy way to tell Gyrolok ferrules, front ferrules from Parker and Swagelok. Now the back ferrules, they're slightly different between Swagelok and Parker. It's got a longer, Swagelok's got a little bit longer body on the back ferrules, I think you'd call that. And yeah,
They use a better conditioner.
something like that. And then the nuts are a little bit, if you're just glancing at a fitting, if you look at Gyrolok nut,
They have
it's
another
got that little extra
nubby.
nubby on the, nubby? I don't know what you want to call it, rounded part on the bottom.
Bevel.
It's just like a cylindrical piece.
I don't know.
I don't know what
I'm
you
throwing
call
words
it.
out there. I thought
We're just
nubby was
making stuff up.
I thought nubby was a good word, but you questioned it. so I
Okay,
tried
nubby
new
or
words.
whatever. So they are different. You're really not supposed to interchange them. Keep them the same, and don't lose your ferrules.
Yeah, don't lose your ferrules.
That's simple.
Or have extras lying
Yeah, I
around.
have extra ones. Most people have
and
extra ones.
and I guess a good rule of thumb probably is if you're going to use one, pick a brand and stick with it. I don't know. Wouldn't that be the easiest thing to do?
Yeah, well, this customer preferred the
The
Gyrolok,
Gyrolok. So there you go. Yeah.
so that they wanted to have that. That's fine.
So then you can have extra ferrules.
Yeah, we have.
We have extras here.
Well, we use Gyrolok on some of our stuff. We use Parker on some things, and
Swagelok
and
on
Swagelok
on others.
So it's
It's a mix. Yeah, we mix it up here.
Yeah, it's a mix on that. So, well, that's all we got for this week. Tune in again next week for another live edition of the Bill and Corey Show.
Set your VCRs.